Whether we look left or right, there's so many things in this world that need changing, that could be better. So much pain, so much strife, so much difficulty that people deal with every single day. And it can seem almost like too much to deal with. It can be easy to hide away from that, or like in our last video, you know, just participate in the matrix. But let's talk about how, you know, once it's clear to you that you want to start on a self-directed path and you want to change your world, let's talk about what you need to do to change the world. The people who are crazy enough to think they can change the world are the ones that do. That's a quote from Steve Jobs, and he's a man who affected the world to the point to where we are all carrying one, if not multiple devices that came from his life's work. And I really believe that that is a picture of what we need to do if we want to change the world. It all starts with you and your belief in yourself. If you want to change the world around you, you want to change the perspective that you get to live your life with, it starts with changing the perspective that you have on yourself. It starts with getting very clear about your goals, about who you want to be, not necessarily just what you want to do, but who you want to serve and how you're going to do that. And then you'll be clear about what you need to do in order to become that person. And that's the beginning of changing the world. It's getting crystal clear about who you want to be. The power of self-reflection really lies in developing the ability to separate yourself from the things that are happening around you. If you get to a point where you're able to kind of self-reflect in the moment, you actually give yourself space to add thought into what you're doing so that you don't react negatively to things, but are making sure that you're always responding positively from your best self. It's also a significant amplifier, because instead of just going through something once and then dealing with whatever happens, you're able to actually look retroactively at things that you've done as well and really find the true lessons that can help you become a better person the next time you're tested. Another serious reason why self-reflection is so important is because you're starting down a path of creating a self-directed life, right? You're starting down a path of designing your days, right? Literally thinking and developing the goal to make your own thoughts real. And so you have to be extremely judicious about the external thoughts that you allow around you. You're establishing a goal for yourself. And so making sure that that voice is coming from the right place will require you to separate from certain influences, and that's okay. Blocking out negative noise will help you to be free and create independent thought. The people, the places, as far as books or social media, right? The places of knowledge and information that we choose to spend our time in really does shape our worldview. And so if you're looking to change the world and you're looking to create this new elite version of yourself, being sure that you're separating from anything that's not connected with that destiny is how you make it real. Example of negative noise is not always things that are overtly negative, right? You may have a passion to go and experience something on this planet, and people that love you may be aware of all of the potential negative outcomes, right? But it's the positive perception on the things that can go right, that give us the courage to go forth and do those things. They don't have that vision, right? They weren't given that same vision, but they may actually be coming from a good place in casting those negative doubts. But you got to understand that the love you have for yourself is something that nobody else can understand and nobody else can give to you. And so you have to get clear about, is this a goal that I've set for myself? Or is this a goal that, you know, this person or these people have gave to me? Now, if you got that goal from a mentor or from a peer group, great. Go to that group or go to that mentor for help with accomplishing that goal. But if that goal is something that came strictly from inside of your soul, you're going to have to take those steps on your own. Once you've established this independent identity and have begun to separate yourself from external influences that aren't in alignment, it can be a little lonely, right? You might spend a year without seeing many people or directly locked in with your goal for 90 days, right? The benefit to establishing this time with yourself is you're able to create a new baseline that you can determine whether you're being disciplined or not. Self-discipline is all about creating your own agenda and then controlling your life to keep you in line with that agenda, right? And so spending time alone and with yourself is really a great time to lock in on self-discipline, because the goals that you've established for yourself, those are the metrics that you're going to base your actions on. You're not basing them on waiting on a friend to call you and get your day started, or waiting on a certain activity to trigger you to make progress. This is about creating internal triggers that will encourage you to get closer and closer to your goals. And once those triggers are set, then as you go out into the world, the things that aren't in alignment will be clear to you. One major tip to help you to stay motivated while you're developing self-discipline is establish your own triggers, right? We all have certain things that create a domino effect and can cause us to do other things. And so establishing your own positive feedback loops connected with habits that are directly associated with your goals is how you can really create a machine, create a system in your life where you're accountable, and not just accountable to taking action or striving for a goal, but you're actually receiving benefits and receiving pleasure from pursuing progress. As you're exploring this journey of self-discipline and becoming the person who's capable of changing the world, the real advantage is that though it may seem like self-isolation, what you're really doing is creating this place of solitude to develop on your skills, getting clear about the character and skills that you want to develop, and creating routines that make those things a part of your character. We got to understand that success is not a destination, it's a routine. And so creating habits based around the areas of life that you want to be great in is really going to help you to not only stay locked in and keep your self-discipline, positive feedback, keep that positive feedback loop going, but it's also going to be something that pulls you forward as you see yourself start to get better. All right, now what do you do with this new circle of space that you have for yourself? You fill it with development. You fill it with information, you fill it with knowledge that is going to close the gap between where you are and where you want to be. I recommend getting books, buying courses, following the social media accounts of mentors and people that are in the space doing the things that you want to do. Listen, it's lonely at the top. That's very true. But I do want to give you the encouragement that there's great people waiting for you there. When you decide to change the world, you're gonna find that it is gonna take this period of turning your back on it. If you look at a symphony, right, and you've got a great composer leading that symphony, if anybody wants to lead a movement, lead something beautiful, they're gonna have to turn their back to the audience. You have to turn your back on the crowd. But that season of isolation, even though some people may take it personal, it's not, right? It was about you. It was about getting to a place where you're capable of giving back in the ways that you want to. And so it's very important from time to time that you take cycles to reintegrate into society, right? To reach out to the people that you love, reach out to your friends, your family, and connect with them, right? Let them know, like, hey, I still care about the world. I'm not separating from the world. I'm simply creating this circle of solitude so I can become the best person I can, so I can impact the world greatly and give back to you and people that I may never meet. My core competency, like in business, is brand development. In 2009 is when I first started taking on clients. And so my personal path of progress has been largely based around becoming the best I can at branding and communications. That has materialized itself into multiple companies and opportunities that now support the life that I have. But the original goal was becoming the best I could be at this one skill. It's important to realize that once you went through a period of change, people may still know you only as how they've experienced you in the past. So you may have disappeared for a year, 2, 3, 5 years. And when you kind of come back into contact or re-enter these circles, even if these circles are like business networks, you've got to be clear that this is a rebrand. you can't assume that everybody just knows all of this development, all this information that you've learned, all of these things that you may have done in their absence. You can't just assume that everybody knows. And so you can't be offended when, you know, they may treat you in a way that disrupts what you perceive to be self-discipline now, right? That disrupts this new self-concept that you have. And so making sure that you strategically reintegrate into, you know, whatever circle it is that you're looking to now go in and make an impact with is important. You've got to have a level of empathy. You've got to understand not everybody is designed the same, right? Not everybody is growing the same. And in fact, if they were, you wouldn't be able to identify the problems that cause you to go out and become different. And so the major key that I want to give you guys as you kind of go through these periods of leveling up and then giving back, and leveling up and reaching back and reconnecting and disconnecting to level up again and then come, because this is a cycle, right? Like if you successfully do this, it's not going to be your only time doing it, right? Like it's not. You're going to continue to find new ways to stretch yourself. And as you fight the law of elasticity and become a bigger person, right? Develop a bigger circle of influence. It's not just you now, right? Now it's you and your tribe. You've got to know why. And being able to communicate that why is how you're going to make sure you keep your relationships intact.